But as she even gave him the benefit of the doubt when she said her father was a student of history. He understood history. See, people keep assuming that Donald Trump don't know history. But if you look at his deeds and his actions, he's following the histories of tyrants before him. Huh? Like she said, demonizing the press. You always want a crook always want to demonize and make it look like the person who would tell you what he up to, he want to make them look like the enemy. Well, why is the press the enemy now? And look who he used to put that out there. He used the crooked people calling themselves news when they really was not news. Fox ain't news. Fox is propaganda masquerading itself as news. Do you understand? Even some of those who were trying to be news reporters, they just gradually started resigning and got fired. Do you understand? And Fox even came out and said it. Tucker Carlson is a show. It's not news. I mean, that's what they tell you when they got that lawsuit against them. It's just a show. Everybody knows it. Which takes away the lie that they've been telling that Trump done convinced people that he won the election. No, he didn't. They just joined in with the lie. Do you understand? Them people don't believe that Trump won that election any more than he does. Now, how do we know that Ronald Reagan's daughter, who's married to Mr. Davis, so she's called Patty Davis now, but that's Ronald Reagan's daughter. And she said her father would be appalled at what Donald Trump is doing. And frightened. Do you understand? You know, when you have something of value and recognize that it's being undermined and it is in danger of being destroyed, if you had sense, you would be afraid. Do you understand? They about to lose something that they done had for the past 200-something years. It started when all of a sudden there was no more peaceful transfer of power. That's the first sign that they just about done lost their republic. You understand? For that is one of the things that they were the envy of the world for. That people with power that had been in the most powerful office known to this current world, the President of the United States. They were willing, when they lost, to give it up. Do you understand? Not fight and make false claims, even if they thought that there was some, as they say, hanky-panky in it. They never suggested it. Do you understand? They just wish the one who won, they call each other up and congratulate one another and say, anything that I can do to help, I will help you, and I will do. That's what Obama did to Trump. He called him up, congratulated him, and went to visit with him and left him a little note about be careful about Putin and all of that, and told him, if you need me, I'm here. Huh? Trump didn't give a damn. He was already in bed with Putin. Do you understand? How did he prove it? The first press interview he gave in the Oval Office, he didn't even let the American press come in there. At least one of the first, if not the first, he let the Russian press come in and told the American press they couldn't come in. Things that he was getting ready to do, the American press found out about it after the Russian press released stories. That was Putin's way of showing the world that he had took control as far as for all practical intents and purposes. He had just about taken control of the U.S. government, of the head of the U.S. executive branch of government. Do you understand? But I warned him, as I warned all of you. You better think back on who set this up, who caused this to come into existence, and butt out of Allah's affairs. Do you understand what I'm saying? The scripture didn't say strong is Vladimir Putin who judges her. The scripture says strong is the Lord God that judges her. Let me show you an example. Name one country that's equal to the United States. Just one. Just give me a name. Some of y'all. When Mr. Rosenthal, what's his name? Rosenthal? Was that his name? The acting attorney general? One of y'all tell me, what was his name? Just Jeffrey Rosen. Okay. When Jeffrey Rosen thought that he was going to be replaced by an underling, he requested a meeting with the White House immediately. He said, well, I'm not going to accept being fired by someone who worked under me. Do you want by a subordinate? Huh? And so he went over there and they had that meeting, and Donald Trump changed his mind about what he was talking about doing. But the fact of the matter is, why did I bring that up? I just asked you a question. Show me a nation that you would say is equal to the United States of America. When people was talking about how much aid with COVID, about the vaccines being sent around the earth, no other country came even close to what the United States was sending in aid. No country. Well, if you are not equal to or greater than, you cannot claim to be the peer to pass judgment on a nation that's greater than yours. I didn't hear you. When you say great, great is a relative term, like big, large. It always requires you the term in relationship to what? If you say you're going to make America great again, Well, that means you think you have found something greater. What have you found greater that makes you say, make America great again? If you say, compared to what she used to be, well, you still comparing America to itself. That's not, again, that's just, when you running it and racing yourself, then it's just like in sports or whatnot. When a person that's a runner beats their own time, well, they just say, well, he broke his own record. Do you understand? But you don't say he's greater than himself. I mean, he just broke his own record. Huh? If he runs lesser, you say, well, he didn't match his last record. Yeah, I think he had a torn ligament, or he had something wrong with him because he didn't match his last time. He ran less than we know he's capable of. Do you understand? You see? So, my point is, the only one that's fit to judge America is the Lord God. That's why it says, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Why the Everlasting Father? Because of the increase of the government and peace that he shall bring in, it ain't gonna never end. It's gonna be everlasting. Now, when Ronald Reagan's daughter said what she said, she was 100% right about how Reagan would have thought about Donald Trump. Let me let you hear Ronald Reagan. Just like when that man tried to come in here and suggest that somehow, I don't know what he was calling himself suggesting, he never did say. That somehow what we are doing here is out of order, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had already said, matter of fact, where he got that from was us. Do you understand? But he tried to turn it into something negative. He tried to suggest something. It said, seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn from those who cast evil suggestions. Huh? He didn't even have no resolution that he was proposing. He just had an evil suggestion. Huh? You got to buy land from them. You got to do this from them. And you said that to say what? You know what his problem was? Maybe he meant that I have to buy land from them, because he ain't bought none. Do you understand? So he called himself belittling me because I'm using y'all's money to buy land that from white people. So that's his way of saying, you ain't so much. Huh? Well, I tell you something. If this was my country, if we was the rulers, what would we expect people, even if you are godly people, then godliness dictate that you go about things in a manner beyond reproach. Do you understand? The white man was going around taking the earth and subduing people and shedding blood and making history. I'm not here to adopt that. Look where his way have led him to. It has led him to ruin. Because he did it so long that now he thinks he's right when he does unjust things. Do you understand? And the reason he thinks he's right is because while he was doing those unjust things, he appeared to not have to answer for them. Do you understand? The reason he didn't answer at that time was because he was being granted respite. That's why he was told, go on and fill up your cup. What does that mean? Fully fill up what was put in your brain to do. Fill up your cup. Do you understand? So he has fulfilled what he was prophesied of. So I don't want to ever look in the eyes of my fellow man like I'm practicing what white people practice. Disrespect, dishonor, racism, bigotry, murder, thievery. Now, nobody ever accused me of being a thief and be right. As I told you, you can't stop people from thinking evil about you, but you can sure stop it from being justified. Do you understand? I stand up here and tell people, come in here and tell me the evil I did to you. If you ever told me something that I did to you that was evil, I immediately apologize. If it bothered you, I apologize. Sometimes I apologize when I don't owe people no apology. These people don't know who I am. As I tell people all the time, the scripture says the earth is mine, everything in it, and everybody on it belongs to me. Now what evil have I done to you? Did God do evil to the devil by making him the devil? I notice nobody ever accuses God of doing something evil because he made the devil. The book says to those that believe, all things work towards the understanding of God.
You eat so much garbage that you need to stop. Hey.
That's that New York boy. Now put him out for good. I don't ever want him back in my class ever again.
The conference
see what happened when you you ain't got to lock him. Oh, I see, yeah. So, that's a person that no matter, like the dog that the Holy Quran said, if you drive him away, he'll all out his tongue. And if you let him stay, he'll all out his tongue. He's indifferent. You see, inwardly, he's of a difference of opinion no matter what you say. Do you understand? Even if you tell him that if you say something that agrees with something he said, he figures out a way to disagree with you. Do you understand? So you don't pay people attention. What are you doing in our prayer service? So anyway, so I want you to, as a matter of fact, to hell with him. Amen, amen, and amen. So I'm sick of it. And before, I had another fellow who used to always, remember Kevin? And I never would just throw him in hell because he you know, but it got to the point where finally he made me do it. And just like him, you know, I'm sick and tired. He don't even have sense enough to say excuse me or anything. He just start talking. Do you understand? I'm sick of it. And that's what's in store for the rest of you all who are ungrateful and rebellious. And the best thing you can do with me, if you don't like me and think that you don't need to show me respect, you had better stay away from me. Because I'm not going to take your disrespect anymore. So let's hear from President Reagan's daughter again.
Ceausescu, so don't hold me to that. But the quote was, you can do whatever you want. You've stoked fear in enemy, you've dehumanized them. Toward the media, where this country has come to, I think my father would be appalled, but I think he would also be really heartbroken at where this country has come to and where we have sunk to.
Did you hear how she put that? She put it in a humble way. She said, I think my father would be appalled. Even now, she does not make herself the equal of her father. Do you understand? That shows you the respect that she has for her father. In how can you demand that someone else respects your father when you don't? Huh? How can you pretend that you want other people to respect your father or your mother, but you don't respect them? You are a liar. Huh? So, it's like these people who show disdain for me following the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then they sit up and pretend they want people to respect the messenger, and when they see me respecting him, they insult me. I'm not the one out here stealing people's teachings and claiming and making you think I thought it up. Huh? Because in the first place, you ain't thought up nothing but a lie. If you have the truth, you found the truth. You didn't think it up. The truth was revealed to you. You know the difference, right? You don't create the truth. The truth reveals itself to you. Most of the truths that you learned came to you while you was doing something. Huh? It was revealed to you. Because you was seeking to do something and to accomplish something, and as you did it, it started, I could have did this, I could have did that. The truth guided you to the truth. Seek and ye shall find. So now listen.
And I think he would be frightened at the use of the word enemy toward the media. The word enemy is really a very strategic word if you think about it, because if you call someone the enemy, you've dehumanized them.
When you look at the First Amendment of the freedom of the press, the founding fathers did not see the press as the enemy. They saw the press as the friend of the American government and a friend of the American people. Because you can't be the friend of the American people and the enemy of the government that they choose. You understand? So the press was put there so that the American people would have someone to inform them if the people that they chose breached their trust. You understand? I'll go into this with you some more tomorrow maybe, if you remind me, because it requires more than a word or two. People need to understand. People need to really understand what's being said. So I'm just going to let you finish hearing her, and then I will let you hear former President Ronald Reagan.
You've made them into a target, really. And I think it's even broader than just calling the media the enemy. You've stoked fear in people. You've stoked fear in this country just by invoking the word enemy. I heard a quote years ago that I believe was attributed to Ceausescu, the Romanian dictator who was executed in '89. I'm not 100% positive it was Ceausescu, so don't hold me to that. But the quote was, you can do whatever you want if you keep the people frightened enough. And you remember what I told you? One of the gravest errors that you can make is this is what patriotism will keep you from making this error. Is when people threaten your country with unjust, by breaking the laws and by ignoring the laws and constitution of the country, and start walking around threatening you for participating in elections and all of this kind of thing. If you had true patriotism, that wouldn't frighten you. It would anger you. And the worst thing you can do with a bully is show him that you are afraid of him. If that's what he wants you to be. He wants you to be afraid, to stand up to him. If you can frighten people enough, you can do whatever you want to them. Think back. You went to school in this system, didn't you? Did you ever see somebody who was afraid of a bully that he didn't always wind up getting what he wanted from him? Huh? He always got what he wanted from them, didn't he? And you also saw eventually, if you stayed around long enough, you saw him try it on the wrong person. Huh? And he got his hind parts handed to him, didn't he? That broke him. You notice she said Ceausescu got executed. They finally got him. Huh? Somebody wasn't scared of him. I didn't hear you. All right. So. That is the agenda of this administration. And I think my father would see it that way because my father, unlike this president, knew history. He knew what happened in Nazi Germany. He knew what has happened historically in Russia and in other tyrannical regimes.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you talk to him. It's the first time I thought about this. You know, he calls the press the enemy of the people, and then he calls Russia a competitor.
Yeah.
He thinks the press is worse than Russia or someone like Vladimir Putin, who's a dictator, and has people murdered in his country. And listen to the way he talks about the press. Watch this.
We have a very crooked media. We're also thrilled to have a lot of the fake news media in the back. The legitimate media and a fake.
See, he's a wise, crooked deceiver. We are thrilled to have a lot of the fake news media in the back. He was complimenting those who was helping him put out fake news, and at the same time, the little weak-minded people that was listening thought he was calling all of the media fake news. See, they always gave him the benefit of thinking that he was criticizing all media. No, he was not. Donald Trump loved to be in the media that putting out all of his fake news. Do you understand? And he said he was thrilled to have all of the fake news media out there. Do you understand? You see? And so they've been talking past you. I mean, he did that when we was in slavery. He talked past the slave. Boy, we got to get out here and get our crops in. And he said, yes, sir, boys, but we got to get our crops in. And the slave wasn't going to say, them ain't my crops, them your crops. If you say we got to go out there and get them in, then you need to get on out there. Then he'd have beat him to death. Do you understand? But, this is what he's been doing with white people now. He done dumbed you down so much that he can plot to overthrow your government right in front of you. He told you he was going to drain the swamp. And I'm the only one that heard it. At least I'm the only one who said he heard what he was talking about. You should have drained the swamp, drain the swamp. And in the end, he had you up there trying to do just what he said. Had you trying to destroy your own system of government. But anyway, I could go on and on, but we ain't got time today. So let's see here. Listen to this, a speech by Ronald Reagan.
It's in the very nature of time that it runs on more quickly than any of us would wish. And I must compress all that I want to say into a few brief and fleeting minutes. Now, perhaps that in itself represents one of the lessons that I can impart, the preciousness of each moment. And this is so important as you look to the future. You see, in the 21st century, staying employed will mean more than just knowing something. It'll mean being able to keep on learning. It'll mean having character and discipline and being proud of yourselves. Learning to learn. Learning to look to the future with confidence. We're moving from an age of things to an age of thoughts, of mind over matter. It is the mind of man, free to invent, free to experiment, free to dream, that will shape the economy and the world of the future. You will discover as you get older that certain things are so much a part of your life that you'll remember them always. You'll remember how you felt about things, about successes, and yes, disappointments. You know, every generation is critical of the generation that preceded it. Our generation felt that way, and so will yours. But in casting aside the old, don't throw out those values that have been tested by time just because they're old. We want to tell you all that we have learned. We want to paint for you our own experience so vividly that you'll be able to avoid our heartaches while you double and redouble your joys. And then we find we have nothing at our disposal but words, weak and feeble instruments. Still, we must try. Every modicum of knowledge that can be truly and rightly transmitted from one generation to the next can prove invaluable. Don't be concerned because you haven't made up your mind. I graduated from college with a degree in economics and sociology, and still had not been able to pin down exactly what I wanted to do. The demand was just maybe to get a job of any kind, because I graduated at the very depth of the Great Depression, 1932. It wasn't until I went back to my summer job to get a little money to go job hunting. After I'd graduated, my summer job was lifeguarding at a river beach in my hometown. And there were people who came out from the city, and corporate heads and so forth, with their families every summer. I'd taught their children to swim, and one was there, and he told me that if I could tell him what I wanted to do, he had contacts with a number of businesses and areas. He would do what he could to get me a job. And I went home, and I thought, and I finally realized that in spite of my degree in economics and sociology, I didn't have the nerve to say I wanted to be an actor. But radio was pretty new, and I said I wanted to be a sports announcer. And he said, well, I don't have any contacts. There's nothing I can do to help you there. But he said, maybe that's better. Let me give you some advice. He gave me the best advice I've ever had. He said, you start out knocking on doors, telling people, at those doors, what you want to do, businesses. And someplace along the line, even in this depression, you'll find someone in a radio station. Don't ask to be a radio or a sports announcer. He said, just ask for anything because you believe in the future of radio. Anything inside the station, and then take your chances on there from getting to what you want. And then you'll get a job. And he says, don't get discouraged if you go to a lot and knock on a lot of doors. Remember, a salesman sometimes has to make 250 calls before he makes a sale. It turned out to be the greatest advice I was ever given. You already have a voice. Make it heard. You're free to be whatever you want to be with no one and nothing stopping you. In a free society, you are free to invent yourself, to turn yourself into a great teacher, a race car driver, a minister, a movie star, a grower and seller of flowers. You can be anything. It's your invention, and there's nothing to stop you. Don't let it bother you that you haven't made that decision yet. You'll change your mind many times before it comes the right moment. But then when it comes, just knock on the door of whatever you've chosen to do and ask until you find somebody that'll let you in. Now we have arrived, as we always do, at the moment of truth. It is time to clean house, to clean out the privileges and perks, clean out the arrogance and the big egos, clean out the scandals, the corner cutting and the foot dragging. Let's not dismiss our current troubles, but where they see only problems, I see possibilities as vast and diverse as the American family itself. Whether we come from poverty or wealth, Christian or Jewish, from big cities or small towns, we are all equal in the eyes of God. That's not enough. We must be equal in the eyes of each other. We can no longer judge each other on the basis of what we are, but must instead start finding out who we are. Our origins matter less than our destinations, and that's what democracy is all about. We can assert that the time is...
That's one thing. That's one thing that I want to clear up to you. What you are is actually what will determine who you are. Do you understand? What you are is how you act. Who you are becomes how you acted. Do you understand? A man is known by his works. What are you? You are a plumber. Well, who you going to call? The plumber. Same thing. Do you understand? See, even though he had, as he said, feeble words in weak, the words that he have is weak because it's flesh. The flesh is weak. They have a natural mind, but they don't have the spiritual, so they don't see the correlation between what you practice and who you are. Do you understand? But in the movie, they said it right. When Batman was talking about, he said, I am what I do. Do you understand? Yeah. You are what you do. You are what you practice. Do you understand? Okay. But just listen to his words.
To move forward, let us leave behind suspicion between our peoples and replace it with understanding. It's a philosophy you can live by. In fact, I hope you do. As a matter of fact, I believe with all my heart that if a generation of young people throughout the world could get to know each other, they would never make war upon each other. That no force on earth can stop individuals from achieving great goals when they have the will and the heart to pull together and work together. It's good for society when we all know that no one is manipulating the system to their advantage because they're rich and powerful. But it's also good for society when everyone pays something, that everyone makes a contribution. We must not let the creation of wealth become a preoccupation with material things. We've made so much economic progress in our country that it'll mean very little if your children look back at your days as a time of materialism and selfishness and looking out for number one. But money's only money unless it represents genuine commitment. There's an old American tradition called house raising. The pioneers out west would get together and build each other's houses. It was a long time ago, but it's still going on. Every time someone helps a lonely old man or woman in a shelter for the poor, that's a house raising. I wish you a nation of strength and wealth and power. But more than that, I wish you a nation where the house raising continues. Remarkable things are happening everywhere. People of all nations, people of all races and faiths have learned to live in harmony. Our children have been able to grow up in prosperity and freedom. It falls to us now, as it soon shall fall to you, to preserve and strengthen the peace. Surely no man can have a greater goal than that of protecting the next generation against the destruction and pain of warfare. But what's really important is what inspired us to do these things. What's really important is the philosophy that guided us. The whole thing can be boiled down to a few words: freedom, freedom, and more freedom. But whatever you do with it, you will be the one who's doing the doing. You'll make the decisions. You'll have the autonomy. I know a fellow who once brought into a little hamburger stand out west. He was just a regular guy, but he worked hard and advertised, and the little stand prospered. You may have heard of it. It's called McDonald's. Hope finds its expression in hard work. Our proudest moments are yet to be. Our most glorious achievements are just ahead. And no matter how full our own lives have been, we say with Thomas Jefferson, I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Let us all renew our commitment, renew our pledge to day by day, person by person, make our country and the world a better place to live. May every dawn be a great new beginning. We're beginning still. Every day brings fresh challenges and opportunities to match. Go for it. Reach those heights. Excel. Keep it up. Keep on saying yes to life. Never forget your heroic origins. Never fail to seek divine guidance. And never lose your natural, God-given optimism. Enjoy your freedom. Breathe it in. Use it to create the most important and moving thing a man or woman can create. A decent and meaningful life. May each of you have the heart to conceive, the understanding to direct, and the hand to execute works that will make the world a little better for your having been here. I want you to know that I have always had the highest respect for you, for your common sense and intelligence, and for your decency. I have always believed in you and in what you could accomplish, and whatever else history may say about me when I'm gone, I hope it will record that I appealed to your best hopes, not your worst fears, to your confidence rather than your doubts.
You see how these people who claim to honor Ronald Reagan is lying? Them people didn't give a damn about Ronald Reagan, except to use him as a shield for their gutter thinking. So I want you to stand with me and let's have prayer. Everybody got business to take care of. And I got a little I need to go take care of too. So. Face the west. Attend. Hut. Original salute. Ready front. Prayer position. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. And I bear witness that I know of none who deserves to be served or worshipped beside thee. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, all holy praise is due and be to thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful Master of the Day of Requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. O Allah, please continuously guide us and keep us on the right path and way, the straight path and way of thee and those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the crooked paths and ways of Satan and those upon whom thy wrath is or will be brought down, nor the foolish paths and ways of those who go astray or who are led astray, even after they have heard and been given the true understanding of thy holy word and teachings. Surely and truly I have again turned myself to thee, O Allah, striving to be totally upright, to thee who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Truly my prayers, my sacrifices, my life and my death are all for thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate hast thou in this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. I know of no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults and weaknesses. So please grant me and my true brothers and sisters continuous protection against all of our faults and weaknesses, for none grants protection against faults and weaknesses but thee. And guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts, for none can guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts but thee. And turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts, for none can turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts but thee. And O Allah, we beseech thee for thy help and ask thy protection. And we believe in thee and we trust in thee. And we seek thy help to laud thee in the best manner, and to never be ungrateful unto thee, and to cast off and to forsake him or her who is disobedient unto thee, and to remove from ourselves all things that are displeasing unto thee and beside thee. And O Allah, Please guide us among those whom thou hast and wilt guide aright, and preserve and perfect us among those whom thou hast and wilt preserve and perfect, and befriend us among those whom thou hast and wilt befriend, and bless us in whatsoever thou dost grant to us, and deliver us from the evils of what thou hast judged. For surely and truly thou judgest, and there is none that can judge against thee. And surely he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. And our Father Allah in heaven, praised is and be thy holy and righteous name, and thy kingdom come. Let thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on the earth, as it is written in the Holy Scriptures. Give us this, the Sabbath day, the understanding and hearts that will always believe in, be inclined to, and be obedient to thy holy and righteous word. And forgive us our trespasses, and please help us to forgive those of our true brothers and sisters who may trespass against us. And leave us not alone during the times of temptation and trial, but please stand by us and deliver us from all evils. For thine is the kingdoms of the heavens and the earth, and the power and the glory over them are thine forever and ever and ever. Amen, amen, and amen. Attention. Hut. Original salute. Ready front. You may be seated. You know, brother and sister, the more you study what's going on in the world, the more you start to realize why this world was kept preserved. As Allah said, He kept it reserved unto the fire of wickedness, for the perdition or damnation of ungodly men and women, people who don't want to be righteous. That's what this world was set up to attract. Do you understand? He let the world come into existence, and then after you got used to it, then He gave you a choice. Do you want to stay in it, or do you want to come out? Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Do you understand? You see how the scriptures are jumping off the page? That's in 2 Peter, where it tells you what the purpose of this world is. This world was set up for the perdition of ungodly people. People who don't want to live an upright and righteous life. They would rather do like your boy that was just in here, that we put out permanently. This is the 3rd chapter of 2 Peter. It says the 7th verse. It says, but the heavens and the earth, the continents, and everything on them, which are now by the same word are kept, which are now, meaning which exist right now, are now, it says, which are now by the same word are kept in store, kept preserved, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Huh? Yeah. So this is This is the day and time where the ungodly are about to be destroyed. That's why Cain was told that he was a fugitive. He told him a fugitive and about, a fugitive is somebody that's temporarily been granted respite because justice ain't caught up with him yet. Do you understand? They even had a show used to come on called The Vagabond. And, the book says, a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be. Huh? Yeah. So it's much I could teach you, but I'm not going to do it now. I will go into it with you when we come back, if it pleases Allah. Remind me tomorrow if I don't bring it up. You remind me and I will go into that with you tomorrow and show you. So, why do you think the ruler, the white man, he don't come in here and say things to me stupid no more? Huh? Too bad Dummy didn't take the hint. You see? So, I put it like that because that's what he is. He's a dummy. A willfully dumb man. Now you know one of the reasons they say that ignorance of the law is no excuse. I've thought about that from time to time, not just dwelled on it. You know why the devil has even the statement that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, what did God say? He said the same thing. That once he sent a messenger, ignorance of the truth, the ignorance of his laws, you have no excuse no more. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had an excuse. Huh? That's what. Well, the white man say ignorance of the law is no excuse because all of his laws are based on what he calls common sense. Common sense laws. You ain't got no business stealing from people. Huh? Because you don't want nobody stealing from you. Is that right? I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do it. Yes, you did. The door was locked. You broke the door open and went in there. Huh? You say, I didn't know that the speed limit was so and so. It signs all of them down the road telling you what the speed limit is. Now, your better thing would be to say, well, officer, I was, I didn't, I know they got such thing as speed traps. But, that's the way it is. You just have to see the sign and immediately slow down. Huh? But, see, whatever you be talking about, going in court saying, I didn't know that was the law, that ain't going to help you. Unless the judge just have mercy on you. But, that's no excuse. Huh? All right. So likewise. Now, if you heard a man standing up telling you he's the Son of Man, which you hear me doing, you ain't got no excuse to come in here and show disrespect to me. Because intelligence dictates if a man claims to be something before you say he's not, you should hear the man out. As Jesus told them hypocrites in his day and time, doth our law judge any man before it hear him? Huh? But you already made up your mind that I'm not the Son of Man. So it don't make no difference what I say. And that's what's going to get you held. Now, so, I got to go. And I'm going to let you go. Unless somebody had a question. No questions? Then may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum.
Goodbye.